What can you do for the people of Montana?
You have to remember I'm one of 435. There's only one representative for the whole state. That's a pretty small voice. What would I do? I, no doubt, would be voting no a lot. That's because government is way too big. I'd be voting no a lot. Another thing that I can do, though, I'm only one of 435, but if I can influence the other 434, and even the other 100 in the Senate, I'd like to shine the light back on the United States Constitution and see if I can maybe educate some of the colleagues. I'd like to build some coalitions with the current legislators that are there, even in the Senate, but definitely in the House. It's interesting. It will be really interesting to see what happens here in November. There are a number of liberty, Constitution-oriented candidates that are running. There's a website that's promoting a money bomb here on the 15th that's promoting liberty-oriented candidates, and people all around the nation can contribute to any of the candidates from any state. There's 47 House members. The last time I checked, there are 47 House members that are involved on that money bomb, and those are liberty-oriented candidates. Now, what happens if the people in America put 47 new House members in there, and they're all liberty-oriented candidates? There could be interesting outcomes from that. And so the idea of a coalition of conservatism, constitutional conservatism, could be really fun. Another thing I would like to do is, and I don't know how this would play out, but the role of a congressman may be just being a spy for the state of Montana and calling up the local legislator in Helena, some of these people that I know and trust, and say, Senator, House member, this is what's coming at you, and this might be what you need to do to avoid a problem. It may be coming to Helena. It seems when a national legislator comes to Helena, they usually have access to both chambers, the House and the Senate, and they can speak to the state legislators. And so there can be some influence there. If the congressman comes down and sits in a county commissioner meeting with one of the county commissioners to support him right on the local level, I'm hoping that there can be influence to support a constitutional conservative at the county commissioner level, or come to a school board meeting and support a local school board in regard to some sort of an issue. So that's what I envision. One thing I will do is I'll give you a day's work for a day's pay. Just a detail, I don't drink. I'm not saying that anybody's wrong that does, and I could if I wanted to, but I don't drink. And therefore, the debauchery that takes place in Washington, D.C. really isn't very attractive to me. And along those lines, my wife and my family plan to move to Maryland and live there. It's just north of D.C. The whole family will be there. I won't be traveling back and forth, using up your taxpayers' money and wearing myself out. I plan to live right there, close. I will be home every night. I will come home to my own wife. And therefore, the debauchery of Washington, D.C. won't be so attractive to me. What else that means is I will be able to be on the job, on time. My eyes won't be red. I won't be rubbing my eyes and yawning. I'll be there on time. I'll spend a full day there. And I'll go home when the job gets done, and I'll go home to my own wife and my own kids. What does that allow me to do? If I'm clear-eyed, if I have my rest, what does that allow me to do? That allows me to be really aware of what's going on there. And when things come up that are just not right, I'm going to take action on that. And I can't tell you exactly what that'll be. But I have I have the franking privileges, snail mail, I have email, I have Facebook, I have all of these electronic capabilities. I can access the television, the radio, And when there's things that are taking place over there that are absolutely eroding away everything that we stand for, I'm going to call foul on it. For example, the incumbent voted correctly, voting against increasing the debt limit just recently, February. The debt was increased, $1.9 trillion now to $14 trillion. He voted against it. I haven't hardly run into anyone in Montana that even knows about the issue. I would not vote a quiet no. If I felt like the debt limit was going to increase $1.9 trillion, I wouldn't just vote no. Everyone in Montana would know that I'm voting no. And I would encourage everyone in Montana to crawl up the legs of every one of the legislators in Congress and do whatever we can do to get that stopped, because it's absolutely devastating this nation, the debt that's being piled on our children. So there's an example. You come to work, you're clear-eyed, you're rested, and you're watching. And when there's an issue that comes up that needs attention, you're there. And again, the power is in the people. And I'm one of 435, but I'm the spy. And when there's something going on in Washington, D.C., I'm going to get a hold of the people and I'm going to say, hey, okay, put down your work, whatever you're doing. I know you hired me to do the job and you need to work. But the fact is, I need your help. And you need to get on the phone, you need to get on the fax, you need to write letters, or maybe you need to make a trip to Washington, D.C. and stand on the steps. I don't know, on the steps of the Congress.